Well, good evening, precious friends. Hopefully by now you'll all be accustomed to seeing me in nice mode and think of me as a nice person and think of me and know that I generally try to make things as simple as possible. Well, tonight I have to warn you, tonight I'm not going to be particularly nice, and unfortunately this is not going to be particularly simple. So what am I ranting about? Well, I have heard lately, just one too many times in the past couple of weeks, somebody make the moronic assertion that human beings can't be carnivore because they don't have long claws and sharp pointy teeth. Okay. It makes me mad. And why does it make me mad? Because most of the time, the people who are saying this are important influencers in the nutrition community, okay? And these are people who are medical professionals, and they have a responsibility to the public because of their position, all right? And this is just blatant claptrap and nonsense. And I will go on and I will explain to you why this is what I believe. And I also believe that these people who are saying this stuff also understand what they're doing. What they are doing is they are conflating, and I believe deliberately, the difference between the term carnivoran and carnivore. In other words, pretending that they mean the same thing when they don't. But they also understand that the people they're talking to will probably conflate the terms too out of undereducation. The two words are very similar, and under ordinary circumstances, people will think that they mean the same thing because under ordinary circumstances, they can often be used interchangeably, even though they don't mean the same thing. Okay? These influencers are taking advantage of sick and sometimes desperate people who are undereducated and using this deliberate conflation of these terms to convince people that there's some scientific basis for claiming that human beings should not eat meat and should instead adopt a plant-based diet. And by the way, look at all those supplements and meal plans and spa treatments that they have for sale to make sure that you survive your plant-based diet. So this makes me angry. And so how did it get away with it? Now, here's where I'm going to go. It appears to be a little off topic, but it's really not, so bear with me. It has to do with the fact that the English language, as languages go, is pretty new, okay? You think of it in terms of, say, a human lifespan. Most of the Indo-European languages that English is derived from are in, say, their middle age. They've really well codified. There's not a lot of evolution going on in the language, not a lot of new words being coined, and those that are generally coming from English. And they're, as languages go, they're pretty settled down. When you say a sentence in French or Italian, there's not going to be a whole lot of question as to what you mean. There's language groups in Asia, for example, where some of the languages are even older, and they're kind of the human equivalent of, you know, people going on Social Security. They're very, very settled down. There's very little argument about what words mean. They're extremely well codified. Chinese is an example, and also Hebrew. But anyway, there's even other language groups that are so old they're in danger of basically dying out through non-use. So they remain very, very static amongst the few people who understand them. And every language, the younger it is, the more it evolves, okay? And English is very young, okay, as languages go. In terms of a human lifespan, English is barely old enough to buy liquor and vote. Okay, so English is a very, very dynamic language still. Okay, and this is where we sometimes come down with situations like we have what appear to be ridiculous debates. Linguists have what appear to be ridiculous debates about what a particular word means or doesn't mean. And you also see things like you open up the dictionary and you find one word and it's got 5 different definitions that don't seem to be hardly related at all. And in other places, you'll see 5 different words that apparently mean exactly the same thing. Okay, so this is a symptom of being basically a young language. There's a lot of argumentation still amongst linguists about English and what it is and what it ought to be and stuff like that. So English being a young language, there's a lot of vagaries that go with it. And this is what a lot of these influencers are taking advantage of. They are deliberately conflating 2 different words that do happen to have very well codified meanings, and they know that the people who are listening to them are probably going to misunderstand what they mean, and they're doing that on purpose to convince the people that who are listening to them that they're saying something that they're actually not saying. Okay, so what do these terms mean? Okay, we'll start with carnivoran. Okay, carnivoran is a scientific terminology. It's a taxonomic term. Now, you remember in high school, when we had to learn high school biology, we had to learn the taxonomic hierarchy, you know, phylum, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Anyway, so the word carnivoran is rather an individual of a member species of the order of Carnivora that belongs to the class Mammalia. Okay, that's what it means. And yeah, that's kind of nerdy, but basically what it boils down to is taxonomy is a method for scientists to categorize and classify things. Okay, if we're going to talk about, say, a critter called a bearcat, that's a common term. And so when scientists are talking about a bearcat or they're doing research, they want to make sure the person who's reading this, do they think we're talking about the thing that they call a bearcat down in South Carolina? Or are they talking about the thing that's in common speech called a bearcat out in Malaysia? Which one is it? So every single known species gets its own unique name called a binomial. Hence, human beings are Homo sapiens sapiens. And we, as we exist today, are the only species, taxonomically speaking, that will ever be named Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay? If another species very similar to us arises, it's not going to be named Homo sapiens sapiens. Right? So we are the only species that has ever been existed and ever will exist that has the binomial Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay? So this is where the flim-flam comes in. Okay? A carnivoran describes a member of the order Carnivora, which do have, these carnivora, they do have commonalities of what we call morphology. They have similarities in their body shapes. They have similarities in their teeth and similarities in their claws and similarities in their habits and similarities in their genes. And this is why they get grouped together in one group called carnivora, right? Human beings are not carnivorans. They are primates. But just because we're not carnivorans doesn't mean we can't be carnivorous, okay? The term carnivoran has a very specific scientific taxonomic definition. And what it does not mean is an animal that only eats meat. Interestingly, not all carnivores are carnivorans, and not all carnivorans are carnivorous. look up the giant panda, the red panda, the potto, it's P-O-T-T-O or P-O-T-O, and the kinkajou, K-I-N-K-A-J-O-U. There's others, but those are the easiest ones that you'll be able to find on Google. And they are either herbivores or fructivores, but they are carnivorans, okay? And so that brings us to, what does the word carnivore mean? The word carnivore, very simply, means an entity that derives the majority of its nutrition and or sustenance from the bodies of other animals. Okay, and I say entity because not all carnivorous entities are animals. Look up carnivorous plants. And you know what? There is no scientific debate between botanists about whether or not carnivorous plants exist and which ones they are, by the way. All right? So a carnivore is an animal that eats, or an entity that eats animal bodies for the majority of its sustenance, okay? And nutrition, all right? The word carnivore is a term of behavior. It's a part of common speech. It's not a scientific term, no matter how much anybody might try to convince you otherwise. It refers to behavior. It refers to the behavior of eating meat or animal parts. And that behavior is driven by what that particular entity is adapted to metabolize, to digest and metabolize. That's what it means. It doesn't have anything to do with the shape of your skull or your teeth or what shape your fingernails happen to be. It's nothing to do with that, okay? So carnivoran has nothing to do with what a beast eats, although most carnivorans are carnivorous, or at least partially so, but a lot of them, actually, most of them are actually omnivorous. But anyway, that's off. I don't want to get bogged down. But the word carnivore, the word carnivoran has nothing to do with the content of the diet, and the word carnivore has nothing to do with body morphology or the shape of your teeth and fingernails. In fact, whales, cetaceans, have no claws, no canine teeth. In fact, many of them have no teeth at all. They don't have binocular vision. And yet, every single cetacean species is carnivorous. Look it up. Anyway, so, my friends, I hope this hasn't gotten too nerdy. Hope this hasn't gotten too long. But just remember, the next time somebody throws at you, well, human beings can't be carnivore because they don't have long claws and sharp pointy teeth, you can just laugh at them and walk away, because they have just outed themselves as either a liar or incompetent to speak on the topic. All right? Lucky for you, being a carnivore has absolutely nothing to do with the shape of your teeth or your fingernails. Okay? Hope that's helpful, my precious friends. I love you all. I wish you peace, love, and meat. And we will talk again very, very soon. Bye-bye.